Hello Jordan, and happy birthday. So I'm going to be showing you how to cope and miter your trim for any homes that you'd like to do or your own. But yeah, so I guess I'll show you what you'll need. Alright, so first thing you're going to need, and probably most important, is a miter saw. It does not need to be this big. This is just the only one I have. And second, you're going to need a piece of trim. It can be this big, it can be a full-length piece. It doesn't matter as long as it's this big or bigger. And what we're going to be doing is mess around with this little profiled edge here. And you'll also need a coping saw. And this is really all you're going to need for doing this. So, let's get going. Alright, so we're going to come over here to the saw and we're going to find our 45-degree angle. Move it over. 45 degrees, it should be marked on your saw. Then we're going to put our board up and we're just going to cut the very end off of it so that we don't take off more than we need to. Be careful of your fingers. Alright, that's our 45-degree cut. Alright, so now that we've made our first cut, what we're going to do is we're actually going to turn our piece upside down and make our next cut here right along this paint edge all the way up to the start of our fancy profile here. And our cut is going to be, we're going to take it back from 45 to 22 and a half, and then we will make our cut. Alright, we're going to make the cut, and remember to watch your fingers. Alright, and then we are left with this. And now what you'll do is you'll just take this piece and break it off. Alright, so now we are getting to the more fancy part, if that last guy wasn't fancy enough. So, we are now left with this little piece at the top here. What we're going to do is we're going to take our coping saw and we're going to follow with the blade our paint line again back at like, just as long as the angle is back behind the main edge. That's all we're doing. Alright, so the easiest way is to make sure that your teeth are pointed away from you, if you can see that at all. And you're just going to pull towards you to get your cut started. Once you have it started, you don't need to put too much pressure. You're just going to start cutting and you're going to follow that paint line. Alright, and if you have a little bit of this left in here, you can just take your saw and again pull it towards you, and then you can start doing your cutting motion. And then all this little piece right here that I'm cutting off is doing is keeping you from getting a nice tight fit. And come down. There you go. There's your coping miter. Alright, so now that you have that cut done, you can take another piece of trim and you can put it together and it should fit just like this. And if your inside corner is not as sharp as a right angle, then that coping miter kind of helps hide it. Alright, and that's how you cope and miter. And as far as measurements for after you've made this cope miter cut, what you'll do is you'll measure from this flat edge of your cope miter, and then mark it down the length of your trim board, and you'll put a mark, and that'll be your length cut. Again, you'll pull from right here with your tape measure down the length, you'll make your mark, and you'll cut it off, and that'll run right into the wall, and then your next piece of trim that you do will also have a cope miter that butts right into the last one.